see you, Nicholas. Hello.
And unfortunately, I cannot share the YouTube live stream because I don't know how to do that. But share to a friend's page and wake up. Craig, you have it on your personal page now. And Buffy, it is on yours now. So we are ready to roll. And here goes the recording. See? All right. So welcome to any Sunday Songwriters. This used to be a second Sunday Songwriters in the bricks and mortar world. And when we got shut away from that, I realized I could have it on any Sunday I wanted. And so hence the name and hence the frequency of the shows, which is every other Sunday. So, welcome. And who's with me? Craig Van Kirk, who lives on the West Coast, and is caught my attention at some song circle or other, and I was just enthralled and couldn't invite him fast enough. And on the East Coast in Massachusetts, we have Buffy Groves, who I met, I think, at Arts Song Circle. Is that correct?
It was the joint one with the coffee house in Israel.
Oh, yes. And you are so much fun. I can't wait to hear what you've got. And I am on what we refer to as the third coast, except I'm not really. I'm in Austin. The third coast is way over there. But it's fun to think of it that way, and apparently a lot of people did because we had a Third Coast newsletter and a Third Coast recording and Third Coast management, so we just kind of adopted it. Anyway, who would like to kick it off for us? Great.
All right, I'll take my headphones off because I can't reach. Night was riding lonely, and the road was winding long. The sun had barely risen, frost was shining in the dawn. His sword was sharp, his lance was keen, and his armor burnished bright. And as he rode, he sang with all his might. He sang, hey, 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 hey. Well, I am a knight, oh, I am a knight, I am a knight, said he. Of all the kingdoms of the world, no finer thing to be. Well, he'd held the vigil rightly, he'd watched his arms by night, and in the morning came the king, and he made him there a knight. Sent forth a mighty hero to defend the castle walls, and all who walk within its mighty halls. For I am a knight. Blood red was the sunrise, and blood red was the field. The knight lay fierce about him, and he brought the foe to yield. And those who fought, he cut them down, and he left them where they lay. Then he took the road to fight another day. Oh, hey, 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 hey. Well, I am a knight. I am a knight, he tried to find the song, but silence overtook him as he sadly rode along. And under midday shadows, well, the night began to yield. Perhaps my spurs are better served than fighting in the field. No castle wall to build or guard, no blood to stain the soul, but blankets for the winter and food in every bowl. For I am a knight. Well, the farmer had no harvest plow, so the knight gave him his sword. His lance became a bargeman's pole to help him cross the ford. His armor turned to cups and bowls, his shield a chalice bright, a helm a lantern shining in the night. Oh, hey, 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 hey. The night was riding lonely, the road was winding long. The sun was slowly sinking, with darkness coming on. No sword, no lance to take the field, in rags against the cold. But as he rode, he sang out brave and bold. He sang, hey, 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 hey. Well, I am a knight, oh, I am a knight, I am a knight, said he. Of all the kingdoms of the world, no finer thing to be. I am a knight, I am a knight, I am a knight, said he. Of all the kingdoms of the world, no finer thing to be.
Wonderful. And Buffy, what have you got for us?
All right. I like to sing the songs I need to hear. So this is that, certainly. Stranded in the middle of the whirlwind, devastation all around. The quake and the churn are everywhere I turn, and the whole world is upside down. There has got to be something that I can do to get back onto solid ground. Chop wood, carry water. Don't be afraid that you're doing it wrong. Put one foot ahead of the other. If it's hard where you are, you'll be somewhere else before long. Trudging up the side of the mountain, I can't even see the top. I've been told there's a prize waiting on the other side, but the voice in my own head says, stop! How will I ever make it to the promised land when I'm already ready to drop? Chop wood, carry water. Don't be afraid that you're doing it wrong. Put one foot ahead of the other. If it's hard where you are, you'll be somewhere else before long. The journey starts with a single step. It's the hardest thing to do. Remember when you're walking in the valley of the shadow, walking is just passing through. Chop wood, carry water. Don't be afraid that you're doing it wrong. Put one foot ahead of the other. heart where you are, you'll be somewhere else. Chop wood, carry water. You can't be afraid that you're doing it wrong. Put one foot ahead of the other. If it's hard where you are, you'll be somewhere else before long. Chop wood, carry water. Chop wood, carry water. Take a step, take a step, take a step, take a step.
I love it. I didn't figure that out till I was 40.
Love that.
Still working on it.
So I'm going to do this one because it's a one-off. I have nothing else like it. We went to a James Taylor concert one time, and people were calling out. Yeah, I know. In fact, we've been to a couple of them. One in Wrigley Field, which was really fun. And people would call out songs from the audience, and he at one point answered, well, I don't have that one, but I have this one. It's almost the same. You know, they're all the same. And I just went, no. So this one is not all the same, and I have no idea where it came from, but one of my daughters walked out while I was in the middle of it, and I played it, and she contributed a line, and I'm pleased to say it was the best line in it. Where are all the Gretas and Marlenas? And all the Mae Wests, where are they? No one tells the boys, come up and see me sometime. That's out of style nowadays. But I still long for old-time steamy romance in satin gowns and stockings with seams, and men that wear trench coats and fedora hats. I wish they'd bring that all back. 'Cause I wanna be a femme fatale. I wanna be a vamp. I wanna whistle like Bacall and have 'em all eating from my hand. They put me on a pedestal, competing for my glance. I wanna be a femme fatale. I wanna be a vamp. Though I am a liberated woman, sometimes I'd prefer to be a tease. And when I see those starlets with eyes come hither soft, I could pull that off, it seems to me, see? And men would bring me clothes and buy me jewelry and open doors and pull me out a seat, and then stand by politely until I'd sit, enjoy my sparkling wit, a little risque repartee with a femme fatale. I wanna be a vamp. I wanna be the party doll that upsets all their other plans. I know it isn't fashionable, but it's so elegant. I wanna be a femme fatale. I wanna be a vamp. Dietrich and Davis, they had it made. Mansfield and Monroe, hey, where'd they all go? Well, the women we admire now in the movies are all doctors and lawyers and chiefs. They don't flutter their lashes or swing their hips. They don't pout their lips or sit on anyone's knee. And if they're in some older profession, they've all been reformed by Act 3. They've given up their cigarettes and champagne. I guess we've come a long way, but I sure miss the day of the femme fatale. I wanna be a vamp. I wanna give the boys the eye and call some guy my honey lamb. I'd have them all in a spell. I'd have them in a trance. If I was a femme fatale, I would be sensational. I wanna be a vamp. Thank you. So, as a point of information, we are going to keep going round and round like this until around 5 o'clock. And there, if you like what you hear, there is a tip jar in the chat. There's also one in the comments on Facebook, and similarly on YouTube on my channel, which is facebook.com/Jan Seides, and also for Buffy's Facebook and Cray's Facebook. And the YouTube one is youtube.com/Jan Seides, and you can find this show there if you prefer to watch anonymously. But we'd love for you to join us here because we like to sing to your shining faces. So, Cray, would you like to grab this ball and run with it?
Yes, I will do another one. A long time ago, I had a show out on the in your neck of the woods, Buffy. I landed in Newark, New Jersey, for a show in upstate New York at the Borderline Folk Club. And the show at the Borderline was a Sunday afternoon. So I landed in Newark the night before. I was going to stay at a hotel right next to the airport, drive up, play the show the next day, and then come back, and I had to take the red eye to London for some shows. So I land in Newark, and I get the rental car, and I come out into the airport parking lot, and I can see the sign to the hotel just right on the other side of the parking lot. And that was about 11:30 at night. And then at 2:30 in the morning, I can still see the sign to the hotel across the parking lot, but I could not for the life of me get there. They were doing all this road construction. There were no road signs, and I ended up on the New Jersey Turnpike 3 times in a row. And finally, on the 3rd time through the turnpike, the lady came out of the toll booth. Her name was Edna, we found that out. Edna came out, and she looked at me in the rental car, and she said, "Honey, I will smack you if I see you again." And she gave me directions how to get to the hotel, and I still couldn't get there. But I decided I would write Edna a song, and I have yet to send it to her because I don't want to get her in trouble for threatening people who were going through her toll booth. Well, the night was warm, the sky was clear as we sank down through the air. We were lost and were wandering through streets that did not care. The onboard navigation, oh, I swear, had gone insane, sending us in circles through streets that had no name. Then suddenly we saw them with New York on our right. Light lay all about them, it was pushing back the lonely night. And we came into their presence and we tried to find our way. Turned off the navigator to hear what they would say. And they were the toll booth ladies, those goddesses of the night. Toll booth ladies, when you're going wrong, well, they'll set you right. And it was in the asphalt jungle, Lord, lost as I could be. Toll booth ladies, rescue me. Well, now the second time we saw them, they laughed and they said, "No, not quite. It's nice to see you here again, but you missed some lefts, you missed some rights. Now listen to my preaching, boy, and do not deviate. And you will reach your destination before it gets too late." And they were the toll booth ladies, goddesses of the night. Toll booth ladies, when you're going wrong, well, they'll set you right. And it was in the asphalt jungle, Lord, lost as I could be. Toll booth ladies, rescue me. Well, now the third time that we saw them, they made us turn around. Edna said, "I will smack you if you stay lost and don't get found," 'cause you headed for Manhattan. So she lifted up her hand and showed to me the road that headed into the promised land. I said, "I can't get there from here. I can't get there from here. I can't get there from here. Well, I looked out, I saw that light from the window by my bed. It wasn't very far away, I should have walked instead. But I left my grateful fingerprints pasted to the glass. And I fell asleep while I was clutching a Jersey toll booth pass. And they were the toll booth ladies, goddesses of the night. Toll booth ladies, oh, when you're going wrong, where they'll set you right. And it was in the asphalt jungle, Lord, lost as I could be. Toll booth ladies, toll booth ladies, rescue me.
That was great. Oh my God.
That was classic, taking a bad situation and making it better with a song.
Only later, only after it was over.
Oh, yeah. So, Buffy.
All right. Well, your song actually gave me the courage, Jan, to sing this one. This is something that I wrote some years ago. You know, when you are a woman of a certain age and you are a single woman of a certain age, you get to a point where the available pool of men is also of a certain age. And it can be difficult to know how to sort of begin the interaction. And when I found myself in this situation, I wrote these lyrics, and this is a co-write with my older brother, Dean. He and I write a lot together. You'll hear some more of our co-writes, but this goes out to all the women who just need a way in. I want you to be my beautiful boy. Between you and me, I think you'd enjoy it. You look like you've been having a rough ride lately, and maybe you could use a vacation. So I'm proposing an arrangement that I think you will find could yield some mutual gratification. I want you to be my beautiful boy. Captivated but free, I don't want a dutiful toy. Now I would never try to possess you. I don't need to keep you all to myself. I just think that I might bring out the best in you that you wouldn't find with somebody else. I want to see what comes into your eyes the moment after you've kissed me. It won't be long before you're wondering why you'd ever try to resist me. I want you to be my beautiful boy, 'cause I've got a spree in mind, and I'd like you to join me. I know that you don't have to learn how to treat me or disguise yourself as something you're not. 'Cause baby, everything you're gonna need to keep me happy is everything you've already got. I want to feel the pounding of your heart against my skin when I hold you. It won't be long before the very start. You'll be so glad that I told you that I want you to be my beautiful boy. I really don't see why I should be coy about this. There's no reason I can think of why two people should hide from the flicker of a common attraction, especially when it promises the chance to provide such sensational satisfaction. That's why I want you to be my beautiful boy. Yes, I want you to be my beautiful boy. I really think you should be my beautiful boy. My beautiful boy. Beautiful, be my beautiful boy. Thanks.
My sister used to say something after her marriage ended that stuck with me. It was that she wanted somebody to come and make love to her and then go away. I don't know for sure whether that happened or not. She did not tell me. So that was lovely. I'm lucky I have a beautiful boy and I'm married to him. So this is kind of the story of my adult life. Because people in Texas, I moved here from New York City in the 70s. And people would ask me how I ended up in Texas, indicating they were kind of mystified by that. So I explained over and over again. And then I thought, well, I'm just going to write a song that explains it all. And then I won't have to answer that question anymore, which didn't turn out to be true. But here's the song anyway. When I left New York City, I thought walls and lights were pretty, and wide open space, well, that was Central Park. I pulled into Austin, thought soon I would be leaving, but a little bit of Texas got stuck here in my heart. The sky's so big it scared me, but the people were so friendly. I kept putting off the date when I would depart for that west horizon, never realizing the longer that I waited, the more leaving would be hard. When I finally hit the road on Highway 10, I said, "So long, Austin, I won't be back again." But I missed Texas every day and every night. I missed Texas, even things I didn't like. I missed Texas and it was tearing me apart, 'cause a little bit of Texas was stuck here in my heart. So there I am in LA, and I'm thinking I have it made. But every now and then my dreams would fall apart, and all the shoulders I could cry on were in some distant time zone. So I would cry all by myself for the breaking of my heart. Aw. Now I smile and shake my head and say, how silly can you get? What could I have been thinking to be wandering that far? And the man who walks beside me, I came back so he could find me, and we're both firmly wed to the heart of the Lone Star. When I finally hit the road on Highway 10, I said, make room, Austin, 'cause I'm coming home again. 'Cause I miss Texas every day and every night. I missed Texas, even things I still don't like. I missed Texas, and it was tearing me apart. 'Cause a little bit of Texas is stuck here in my heart. Yes, I missed Texas, and I will never more depart. 'Cause a little bit of Texas, right out of the middle, it's stuck here in my heart. Yeehaw. Thank you.
On song tip.
So, Buffy, you talk about being of a certain age. I love singing this song for people of a certain age, but especially women who are old enough to have what I call some dirt between their toes and some starlight in their hair. And I love singing it because I love knowing that each and every person that I see who is older has in her memory a week or a month or a summer or maybe an entire year with somebody that they've never forgotten. And probably nobody got very much sleep in that time. And it was golden days and silver nights on the hills of Beltane. This is Lost Lover's Waltz. Alone on the dance floor at midnight, waiting for you to appear, in a red velvet dress, black satin lace, dusted my memories dear. But you're waiting alone on a floor like my own for a man with a face that's not mine. So I'll dance alone with the ghost I once knew, once upon a time. This is my lost lover's waltz, dancing like lovers do. This is my lost lover's lost waltz that I never danced with you. And down by the water where the minstrels all play and the painters, they wait for the light. The dancers, they sit with their feet in their hands, and they quietly rest from the night. And the playwrights, they sit with their quills in their hands, and they drink their black coffee like wine. But no words they write can turn back the pages when you were the measure of time. This is my lost lover's waltz, dancing like lovers do. This is my lost lover's lost waltz that I never danced with you. They say Paris is magic. They say Paris is the city of love, and I love all my memories of Baudelaire nights and mornings with you dressed in sunlight. Ooh-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee, la 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 la. Ooh-doo-doo-doo-doo-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee, la 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 la. Alone on the dance floor at midnight, candles beginning to fade, and the mirrors are empty, they won't show my face, shadows in silent parade. And locking the doors as I make my way home through the empty streets crowded too soon, following footsteps that lead ever onward, stepping in time with the moon. This is my lost lover's waltz, dancing like lovers do. This is my lost lover's lost waltz that I never danced with you.
That was just gorgeous, Craig.
That was beautiful. Beautiful. Oh, well, okay. I love in the round song things because they always blow me around in terms of what I had planned to do and then what I wind up doing because of what the songs that I'm reminded of. And Jen, when you asked me to participate in this, I remember saying to you, I'd love to be part of your songwriters group, but I've only really written a couple of songs that I ever perform. And you said, that's okay. But I have spent the intervening time dredging up the bits and pieces and trying to get them to performance shape. And that Crave song made me think of this. This is a song that I wrote after one of those summers that that had to end, because it doesn't always, it isn't always forever. So this came out of that. See if I can make my fingers do it for me. Now you are gone, and I can cry a little bit, try and make the reasons fit in rhyme. Writing this song, and maybe I can ease the pain, find the courage to explain the time that went so fast. We sailed into each other's lives unknowing, felt a pull too powerful to fight, and then we parted, two ships that have passed in the night. Were we in love, or was it just the time of year? Feelings that are so unclear in spring. But loving you now would turn my wheel another way, and in the end I chose to stay my course for good or ill. We circled love like moths around the candle, each one drawn into the other's life, and then on into the darkness. Ships that have passed in the night. What could I say to make you understand my mind? In you I found the man I find in dreams. But images fade, spring's love melts in summer haze, with nothing to recall the days that seem so long ago. But the promise that was there in the words we wouldn't say, in the letters that I will never write, I will remember if ships that have passed in the night meet again.
How lovely.
Thanks.
Lovely song, Puppy.
Yes. So I have a daughter who moved back to New York. She always referred to it as remedying her mother's mistake. And she went to school there. And she was living in an apartment in Queens that she could see downtown New York on September 11th, 2001, from her bedroom window. And we had this conversation after the initial attack, and she wanted to know, after the phones were no longer inoperable and we could actually talk to each other, and she wanted to know if she should come home. And I said, you know, speaking as your mother, I would love to have you come home, you know, the sooner the better. But you have to do what's good for you regardless of what's going on around you. And if you think you should come home, then yeah, you should come home. But if you don't think you should, if you feel like you're being driven out, then no, you shouldn't. And I wrote her this song after the conversation. I know you've been watching the world go by, and so often it makes you cry and wonder if it's worth rising in the morning. But though it causes you so much pain, sooner or later it all will change. That's what it always does. When everything you counted on, everything you thought was true, hits the ground running away from you. Well, what can you do but live your whole life, give your whole heart anyway? Speak your whole mind, seek your whole dream anyway. One foot in front of the other, step by step, day by day, any way you have to. I know you want to, but you're afraid. But what makes you feel that way is the message of fear you're hearing every day. But don't listen to what they say. Some people live their whole lives that way. that's not you. We've only got a moment, and it won't last. Lots of other hard times were in your past. Your future's up to you, so live your whole life, give your whole heart anyway. Speak your whole mind, seek your whole truth anyway. One foot in front of the other, step by step, day by day. Any way you have to, any way you can, any way you'll have to, anyway. Thank you. So she stayed. She got her degree in public relations, and she's now, if you'll pardon my bragging just a little bit, she's senior vice president for public relations at HBO Max, which is her dream job.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. She's good.
Cool.
By the way, I wanted to let you know that in a few minutes we'll be joined by a bunch of people from Israel, if I'm not mistaken. But since we are back on daylight savings time and they are not, their show ran an hour later than it usually does, which is why they can't join us till the second hour. And for the people who are here and the people who are listening in, there is a tip jar in the chat or in the comments wherever you're listening. And please be generous. Thank you.
Okay. Oh my fathers, the seeds that you have sown, you made your war across the sea and then you brought it home. And all the children suffer for the gold that you have sought. It's not against your freedom, but your greed that I have fought. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Oh my fathers, I will now condemn your hatred of my mother, of my sisters and my friends, your imaginary demons, woman, black or queer, your manufactured outrage against your shadow fear. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, my friends? What's going on? Oh my fathers, I am a straight white man, but the reins of power that you hold I will not take in hand. I reject the lies you've written, I reject the works you've wrought, I reject your profit margins, for love cannot be bought. What's going on? What's going on? Oh, my mothers, wear your dangerous coats. Oh, my sisters, wear your dangerous coats. Oh, my lovers, wear your dangerous coats. With pockets full of love. Oh, my fathers, I declare your time is done. Nothing will I take from you, although I am your son. My hands are for my lovers and for green and growing things. My time is meant for laughter and the songs that children sing. my fathers, oh, my fathers.
Wow.
Wow. Wow, indeed.
Wow. Yeah, some songs are necessary. That's like a necessary song. Fabulous.
You know, I have a teacher for this, and I'm learning to write a musical. And one of the things that he said in one of the classes, and it's going to stick with me the rest of my life, is when you can't talk anymore, that's when you sing.
That's excellent. Yeah, yeah. Well, changing the focus a bit, I wrote this song. I wrote the lyrics to this song. This is another co-write with my brother Dean. I wrote the lyrics to this song sometime after I had left home. My early life was not easy, and I left home early. And I was on the road for quite a while before I found my feet and repaired my relationships with my family and things like that. But while I was out there, I kept in touch with my brother, who was also on the road playing bass in disco bands. One day I sent him a set of lyrics, and in a couple of weeks I got a cassette tape in the mail, dating myself. And this was on it. I grew up in a 4-room house. There was never enough room to breathe. Hated school, it was such a drag. My father drank and my mother nagged. I guess I just wasn't a part of their bag. Inside I began to see, put my life in the suitcase and quietly take my leave. 'Cause there's a guy, kind of shy, smile with my eyes. He helped me fly away out to the highway. I found a new home on the highway. Welcome home. Changed my partners as I changed my ways. I kept trying to settle down with friends and strangers and boys in the bands. I recall his voices and pairs of hands. No more than a succession of one-night stands. I was always on my way to the next town over the rainbow, where true love and contentment can be found. 'Cause it seems each time I choose, I lose. Tie on my highway shoes. I don't know why I stay here on the highway. I'm so at home on the highway. Welcome home. took the home of another man. He was somehow different again. He didn't sweep me off my feet, but he was oh so gentle and oh so sweet. And it was all over inside of 3 weeks. There was no use trying to pretend. Leave a note on the pillow and hope the wounds I leave will mend. 'Cause there's always someone on the run. Stick out my thumb, hey, are you going my way? Out to the highway. I've come home to the highway. Welcome home. Home on the highway. I'm at home on the highway. Welcome home. Hey.
Lovely.
Thank you. Thank you for
Yeah.
that jazz hands, Craig. Thank you.
I have a love-hate relationship with the road, too. So I'm going to explain this next song this way. I'm going to share my screen with you and show you what prompted it. First of all, I have done a lot of writing in the last 2.5 years because it was such a good way to keep anxiety and too much thinking at bay. And I've joined a couple groups that either they give you, a prompt a day for a couple weeks or 1 week, or a prompt a week for a year. And this was one of those prompt a week ones, and the prompt was next. And in the process of trying to figure out what I was going to do with it, I saw these. Let me move this out of the way so that you can see. And they stopped me in my tracks. And I thought, okay, well, I know what I'm going to do with that prompt. And this song was the result. Next to the picture of your sister with her boyfriend licking ice cream cones, hang a picture of his sister, a face on a billboard, stolen from home. Next to the picture of your brother celebrating graduation day, hang a picture of her brother conscripted by soldiers and taken away. It's not the same for everyone. The playing field is far from level. We each get one life, it's ours alone. But we're all in this life together, and we could make it better for everyone. Next to the picture of your baby sleeping with her favorite cuddly toy, hang a picture of a mother begging for food for her baby boy. It's not the same for everyone. The playing field is far from level. We each get one life that's ours alone. But we're all in this life together, and we could make it better for everyone. It hurts the heart to think about all the ones who do without. When Mother Earth is so abundant, we just need to spread it out. 'Cause it's not the same for everyone. The playing field is far from level. We each get one life, yes, yours alone. But we're all in this life together, and we could make it better for everyone. We could make it better for everyone. Thank you. I have to say, I've gotten really addicted to writing from prompts. So the time has come to ask this question. Cray, where are you going to be next, and where can people find you online?
Speaking of having a love-hate relationship with the road, I'm about to embark on a 5-week tour at the end of next week, sleeping in the back of a Prius, which I have converted. So there's the love-hate part right there.
Whoa.
You can, yeah, it's an experiment, but that's all I can afford right now. But
Let me know how it goes. I have a Prius.
Yeah, well, for a while they made a Prius van, and I saw one like 2 years ago in Florida, and I thought, oh, that would have been great, but it's just a regular Prius, so I'll send you pictures.
Yeah, please
but,
do.
I'll send you pictures when I'm done.
Send me pictures of your back X-ray when you're
I was
done.
going to say the back X-ray is really going to be bad. If people just go to my website, crayvankirk.com, on the very front page is a list of all the dates and places I'm playing in April, and I'm starting in Seattle, Portland, going over the top down through Missoula and Bozeman, Montana, then down to Cambridge, Missouri, up into Chicago, and then down through the Denver, Colorado area, and then into New Mexico. So if you're on that circuit, each listing has links to the tickets and everything, and then I'll actually be back in Maine and New York and that area in September, both of this year and next year. And next May I'll be down in Austin, so that's all still padded out. But April is the first upcoming.
Great. Sounds like a lovely trip. And Buffy, how about you? Where are you going to be next, and where can people find you online?
I will be in this chair in front of this computer for the foreseeable future.
Got it.
Honestly, to be honest with you, aside from the occasional online open mic, this is the first solo live performance I've done in about 3 years.
Wow.
But a good friend of mine has taken on the task of making a website for me. So eventually, hopefully soon, within the next couple of months, there will be a buffygroves.com website.
Perfect.
Where you can find me and anything I might be doing that isn't just sitting here talking to you through the screen.
Lovely.
I'm so grateful to you for this opportunity.
Oh, well, thank you for saying yes to this.
To get me doing this at all. It was really, really a lot of gratitude for that.
Great. Well, thank you. I'm grateful for your presence here. And for me, The next place that I'll be that's live will be the 24th of. Oh no, it isn't. Not anymore. I was the next one. The second Sunday show that I used to do live will be back, and it'll be at Kick Butt Coffee here in Austin, and I'm really looking forward to getting that online again. We may be able to stream it. I'm not sure what the arrangement is. And I also, at this point, I don't have it booked, so I can't tell you who will be with me. But it'll be somebody here in Austin. It will be 2 people here in Austin. And it'll be a great show because all the ones that we've ever done have been wonderful shows, and I'm really proud of the track record. And then on April 24th, I'll be at New World Deli here in Austin. And that also, the person that I thought I was doing it with just told me she can't. So that's not booked yet either, but we'll be there. And that will be me and one other songwriter. And these shows happen every other week, every other Sunday. And if you would like to be on the list to know who's going to be here and where to show up online, then just put your email address into the chat and let me know that that's because you want to be on the email list, and I will be delighted to put you there and fill your head with music. My website is janseides.com, spelled exactly like you see it right there in the bottom, whatever that is, left corner. And you'll find all of my recordings and my book that I'll tell you about in a little bit, and possibly where to buy tickets for my musical when somebody takes it on, when I finish writing it. And also jewelry made by Love and Life art that's made with semi-precious stones and my guitar strings. So, yeah, I mean, it's really remarkable. And if I'd remembered to put on some of it, I would have been able to show it to you. But something always slips through the cracks, and this time that's what went. But it's really lovely stuff. Go have a look. And now, moving on, Cray.
Buffy, we should talk. If I'm going to be up in your area, we should see about maybe playing a couple tunes together, or having you come out to where I'm playing and do a set. I'll drop you an email and we'll see if maybe we can work something out, because I'd really like that. God was dead one morning. It was 9 a.m. Struck down by a radar dish that stretched to heaven's end. And when the prophet heard the news, she laughed until she cried. And then she shouted, God is dead, long live the divine. And in the rain along the strip, her holiness, she let it slip all night long. Stand on the walls of Jerusalem, cry out to a desert land, that we need not guns in the darkness, we need water from the sand. Oh, 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 Jerusalem. Morning after found her on a barroom floor, lying in the consequences of the night before. And staggering through dirty streets, she made her way back home and cried behind the bathroom door, naked and alone. The compass lost, the map was burned, while in the darkness monsters turned and called out her name. stand on the walls of Jerusalem, cry out to a desert land that we need not guns in the darkness, we need water from the sand. Oh, 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 Jerusalem. It's a miracle of rare device, begotten for a beggar's price. It's been 40 years and a day, time to wipe this weary mud away. The drum to war was sounding. It was 9 a.m. There were walls to keep the strangers out, but lock their children in. And the prophet, who was godless, stood upon the shifting sands and bravely shouted love to all the monsters on the land. Then suddenly, amazed to find that love was echoed back in kind, from a voice so still and small it hardly was a voice at all. And then her wife said, don't you know, most things have to die to grow in their own time. So come, my love, stand on the walls of Jerusalem and cry out to a desert land. And we shall be not guns in the darkness, we are water from the sand. Oh, 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 Jerusalem, stand on the walls of Jerusalem, may he cry out to a desert land. And we shall be not guns in the darkness, for we are water from the sand. Oh, 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 Jerusalem.
I want you to know we have a member of our audience who is actually in Jerusalem right now. Phil, you want to come say hi? She says it's bloom. There she is. Craig, take a look. Oh, where did he go?
I'm right here. Everybody can see me. I can't because
He sits at his computer.
Oh, okay. Well, this is Phil Backel. Did I say it right? I've never known how to say it. And she is currently in Jerusalem and just put a note in the chat that says the desert's green right now.
Where are you in Jerusalem? What part of the city?
What part of Jerusalem? I'm near the promenade, the Talpiot. You know,
yes.
Jerusalem? Okay.
Yes, I was there a long time ago, but I remember it. Wow. Well, thank you for tuning in all the way from Jerusalem.
Well, if you go back there, Phil will put you to work.
Yep, I run the folk club there.
All
and
right.
the Zooms. Like a shot. And you've got Janet here as well, but she's from Manana, if you know where that is.
Actually,
near Tel Aviv.
It's in Tel Aviv. Tel Aviv.
Okay.
Near Tel Aviv, north of Tel Aviv. Yeah.
So, Buffy, what you got?
Okay. Well, writing to prompts. I used to say that my songwriting process is on the glacial time scale, because it would take me between 5 and 10 years to write a song. But about 4 years ago, my mother passed away, and I had been with her for 23 years and her primary caretaker for the final 8 to 10. And after that, I couldn't write anything. Like I was not creative at all, or I wasn't having any output. I just felt stopped. And I was in a songwriting class of many that I took during that time. And the prompt was write the letter that needs to be written. And in the course of about 10 minutes, I had most of this. The music was then provided by a dear friend named Charlie Koch. And this was the letter I needed to write to get beyond where I was. Hey mama, I saw a thing today. It doesn't really matter what I see. The reason I'd remember was I'd share them with you. Hey mama, I did a thing today. It doesn't really matter what I do. The reason things were special was I did them for you. And I miss you more every day. People say it gets better with time, and that may be true, but me without you is lonely. You always loved my face. You loved it since the day my life began. Now no one will ever love my face that way again. Hey mama, I wrote this song for you. I hope it starts to matter that I write and sing and play and work and love and build a life that isn't just for you. But I miss you more every day. People say it gets better with time, and that may be true, but me without you is lonely.
Beautiful.
Beautiful song, Buffy.
All right.
Lovely. Oh, I should mention Faith Sunny and Art Grossman and Carl Percival, and who else? I just saw it. They're all on Facebook and they all said hello. So I just thought you should know that. And hi, Jackie. It's good to see you here. And hi, Janet, even though we can't see you. So, yeah, prompts. Like I said, I'm getting kind of addicted to it. And feel like I have an excuse to be a slackard when there's not a prompt that needs to be written. So the prompt in this case was tiger, because it's the year of the tiger. This was just a few weeks ago. But I am apparently congenitally incapable of doing what people expect. And so this was what I ended up with. I hear you cheering for me out there. I know I'm elegant and rare, and I think I'm showing admirable restraint. Fancy Dan there, his name is Roy. He's treating me like I'm some kind of toy, and I'm being practically a saint. See how his partner struts and prances. That Siegfried thinks he's quite the dancer, but I'm really the star of the show. You know, and I guess I've got it good. Since that's the case, I guess I can put up with that fool and his stupid megaphone. But sometimes I dream of home, lying in the sun beside the sea. Life was harder then, life was harder then, life was harder then, yes, but I was free. What's that fool Roy doing now? I think he's trying to make me growl and give the fans a thrill for their applause. I think I'll try a little slap, just a teensy little bit of a love tap. Not enough to hurt, just remind him who's boss. Because last night I dreamed of home, lying in the sun beside the sea. Life was harder then, somewhat harder then, life was harder then. I was free. I didn't mean to hurt him, he's such a little squirt. But when the crowd began to scream, well, it was totally worth it. Because last night I dreamed of home, lying in the sun beside the sea. Life was harder then, a little bit harder then, life was harder then, but I was free. Thank you.
Great song, Jan.
It was fun. So,
All right, let's see here. was a stormy Sunday morning and the rain was pouring down. So I took refuge in the library uptown. And there I sulked and fretted like an angry child, until one of the librarians sat next to me and smiled. He was tall, he was handsome, his smile was like the sun. He said, "I think you need some help, you're looking rather glum." I hesitated briefly and then opened up my soul. And I told him why I wandered through the wet and cold. I said, "Oh, I am looking for heroes, light to drive the dark away, Superman to save the day. But all the skies are emptiness and gray. Ordinary every day, 9 to 5 with bills to pay. Captain Marvel's far away, tell me, where have all the heroes gone?" He told me everything's a story. Change the story, change the world, and here you'll find the answer to the question you have hurled. There's no more fertile soil for the heroes that we need than all the stories gathered here for everyone to read. For this is where the hero's journey starts. Every line on every page will guide a growing heart. Now flying through the sky, that sounds like fun. But heroes are in everyone, not the few, not the one. Love, justice daily done, here's the secret, your quest has won. Heroes are not born, they are honestly made by the sweat of their brow, by the tools of their trade. Sometimes with iron, sometimes with steel, always with love and the courage to feel the labors of Hercules close to their breast, day in, day out with no time to rest. They look just like you, they look just like me, with their capes tucked up neatly for no one to see. I sat there bewildered, I sat there perplexed. I thought, wait, don't heroes all wear leather and spandex? If what he was saying was true and was right, there were heroes all around me hidden in plain sight. And then there came a voice by our knees. A very young child said, "Mr. Kent, help me please. My mother said you'd tell me where to look to find this very special book. It's all about the dinosaurs with lots of color pictures, mostly from the late Cretaceous, but before the Cenomanian-Turonian boundary event, because that's the best part of the Mesozoic, when Tyrannosaurus Rex and Quetzalcoatlus were around, and they are so totally cool. Mr. Kent, help me please." "Now that I can do," said the man as he rose, and he pointed the child towards the books that he chose. He winked as he passed me, and I saw on his chest, under his shirt, the red shape of an S. Oh, heroes are not born, they are honestly made by the sweat of their brow, by the tools of their trade. Sometimes with iron, sometimes with steel, but always with the love and the courage to feel.
Marvelous.
Right.
Yes.
Dave Mason says hello from the Facebook.
Huh? was great. Um, it it I think Cray, it's given me the courage to play something that I literally finished yesterday. Finally, just a little piece of something fell in, and I'm sure it will morph over time, but um, it's triumph. It's a song of triumph, and I don't have many of those, so that song makes me think of this. The ghosts are talking to me again. They've been in my head since I don't know when, with commands and demands and thoughts and opinions on everything I say and do. Or don't say or don't do, and think and believe. They spit and they snarl and they howl and they grieve over how I am bad and I'm wrong and a failure. And I always thought it was true. Well, Buffy, that isn't a good idea. And that's nothing anyone wants to hear. You haven't the talent, you're lacking the skill. You really should just go home. To sit and imagine what my life could be if I could be somebody other than me, who achieves and produces and carpes the DM, who won't end up broke and alone. Once upon a time I was an apple in an eye, but that didn't last very long, till all that you are is perfect became everything you know is wrong. I may never be able to stifle the sound of the teachers and others who all crowd around. Long gone from my life, they are still in my head, and they don't want to give up their power. But I've got a weapon, it's not at all hidden. I've never been able to do as I'm bidden, and I do as I please, and I like what I see. When my ghost voices start up, I just lift my heart up and proudly declare that what made them so scared is how I have been able to flower. One of these days I'll nail the ending.
Yay!
Indeed.
Anyway.
Well done.
Thank you. Thank you for allowing that song to be born today here.
I love being witness to births. Yes. So I said I would tell you about this, and so I will. This is the book that is on my website. It started out as a CD and a bunch of songs. Actually, it started out as one song that I thought was all I was going to say on the subject. And that didn't turn out to be true. And so there were more songs. And at one point, somebody said to me, well, what are you going to do with those? And I said, well, I guess I'm going to write more of them and turn it into an album. And so I did. And the album was finished, and I thought, okay, we're done with that now. And then somebody came up to me on stage one evening and said, you ought to turn that into a book. And so I did. The book is called Unsung. The songs and the stories are stories from the Bible that you didn't get to hear because nobody asked them. So I did, because I have an inflated sense of responsibility. And I wrote down what I decided they would have answered. And I thought, okay. Oh, and I should say that it's the lyrics and a little backstory and illustrations that were created by myself and Vanessa Lively. She did the watercolors and I did the line drawings. And this is the song I'm going to do in a minute. And I thought, okay, well, now that's done. What do I do next? And what turned out to be the case, the next step was somebody said, you should turn that into a musical. And that's what's happening right now. And it's been so much fun, such a nice ride. And once the musical is done and I can convince somebody to stage it, then I'll have to figure out what I'm going to do next. So this is one of the songs from this project. It was songs that either did not get told because the person was never asked, and sometimes you didn't even learn their name, or the story was told, but the wrong person told it. And this is one of those. He was a pious man, but he was a brute, best any man in a fight. Paid for my favors, 'cause he had to. I was Delilah, woman of the night. Something about the man drew me. It wasn't love, but I pulled him to me, 'cause he'd be company while I waited for the real thing, but it got complicated. I took him as my lover, afraid to refuse. And a girl gets tired of being alone, but he had enemies who wanted to use me, so I knew I was living in a danger zone. But something about the man drew me. It wasn't love, but I pulled him to me, 'cause he'd be company while I waited for the real thing, but it got complicated. No one asked me why I did it, 'cause they all thought they knew. Well, here's the reason between you and me. I only took the money 'cause it meant that I'd be free. I didn't believe him. 3 times he had lied when he told me about cutting his hair. It sounded silly, so imagine my surprise. Now it's too late to decide that I cared. But something about the man drew me. I knew it wasn't love, but I pulled him to me, 'cause he was company while I waited for the real thing, but it got complicated. Now I've no company and no hope of the real thing. Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome.
Lovely.
Thank you so much. So, yeah, it looks like we have time for 2 more each. We're going to run a little over, but like I said, no one's waiting for this
Untangle
stage,
my
so.
picks. There, in the Irish Sea, between the coast of Wales and Ireland, is a little tiny island called the Isle of Man. And my wife spent part of her growing up there on the Isle of Man in a little town called Kirkmichael. There's a house about Kirkmichael out upon the Irish Sea, where it's written on the doorway where the windows used to be, that all who come inside will be tucked in for a lovely evening tea. There's a house about Kirkmichael, and it's tilted on its side, drunk upon the tempest, surrounded by the tide, but solid of Byzantium were candled windows and the dark collide. There's a house about Kirkmichael, and it's full of sleepy bears, and a dozen shabby tigers who pounce upon the stairs, and not along the widow's walk Joe Strummer singing with the mescalaires. And well about Kirkmichael is a child who loves the dogs, and one who plants her flowers from the garden catalogs, and one who builds her dragons hidden softly in the heavy autumn fogs. Only heroes dare the kitchens, with pie and pudding on the wall and floor. It's my favorite mystery, it's the pages of our history. And there's a house about Kirkmichael, and in it I will die. I'll leave it for the children with the windows open wide, those poets in their patchwork quilted boats to set them free. These fragments have I shored against my ruin, and love shall not be lost in this summer flowered house beside the sea.
Yeah, great song.
Finding the mute button is sometimes problematic. I want to unmute to applaud, and I can't find the button.
Yeah.
Let's reapplaud all together now.
Wow. Okay. So this song, I had a friend who I still have. It's just that life has taken us to different parts of the world, and so I'm not in touch with her as I used to be. But when we were close, she was someone who could do anything. She could sing, she could dance, she could draw, she wrote poetry. She was beautiful. And I knew she loved me dearly, and we were together quite a lot of the time. But it was hard being in the presence of so much greatness all the time. And out of that came these lyrics, which again in collaboration with my brother Dean Groves became a song. And when I used to put it into catalogs and repertoires and things, I titled it Gem. And I didn't tell her or anyone that what it stood for was green-eyed monster. But anyway. You have an artist's hands, the swirling, ever-shifting lands of color, found and lost again in half-forgotten dreams of paradise, are resting warm beneath your fingertips, that you must send them forth in streams, flowing into landscapes of a world that only you can see. I'd be happy if there are a few that you can share with me. You can fly, and as I watch you glide, I wonder why I cannot rise up beside you, knowing as I do, we are more one than two. How were we cast to play such different roles? You are there, on that I can rely. We can share, as in your flight I find the skyways. You can use my birth to show you back to earth. Together we can make each other whole. You see with poet's eyes that view beyond the outward guise. The inner truth of what you see is patterned into scores of multicolored tapestries, with scenes composed of words so perfectly and wholly yours, that reading done, the tribute I must give you is the knowledge why your poetry evokes in me a smile for you, for me, a sigh. You can fly, and as I watch you glide, I wonder why I cannot rise up beside you, knowing as I do, we are more one than two. How were we cast to play such different roles? You are there, on that I can rely. We can share, as in your flight I find the skyways. You can use my birth to show you back to earth. Together we can make each other whole.
Yes. Well, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that I've been working with somebody, his name is Patrick Michael, who is very passionate about climate change and about fixing the problem and doing something positive. And I've been writing songs and making videos for him, which appear on his many web presences, and you can find him under P. Michael Campaigns on Facebook. What we're going to do on March 22nd, I am Miss Pimby, Pimby, which is plant in my backyard. And I have a smock I made and gardening tools I can wave about in the air. And I actually am about to plow my garden up, so maybe I'll bring my tiller in and put it in the video. This song is one of the ones that appear on one of those web presences. You'll have to see it. It's a multitude of videos, and it's all quite entertaining and educational, and I'm just loving being part of it. This one was born of the fact that he said something about the Northern Lights, which I have an ambition to see one day, if they ever come where I am, because I'm probably not going where they are. But that happens every once in a while. I saw the Northern Lights, or a bit of them, from New York City one evening. And then I can't remember, 2 or 3 things happened about the Northern Lights all in the same 3 days. And I thought, well, okay, then I'm supposed to write a song about this. And here's the song. Magnetic fields fight their way across the skies and show us brilliant colors, the Northern Lights, and we are all reminded the beauty we have here. How fortunate we are to have protective atmosphere and the home we share. The Northern Lights remind us as water and air. The Northern Lights remind us that there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee. The Northern Lights remind us. The Northern Lights remind us. Celestial looms weave the darkness into lights that dance above the planets and dazzle human eyes, and we are all reminded of vast eternity. How fortunate we are, however briefly, just to be in the home we share. The Northern Lights remind us, water and air. The Northern Lights remind us that there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee. The Northern Lights remind us. The Northern Lights remind us. It's a beautiful and deadly universe, and everything that we hold depends on our next choice. For though we send our rockets up to land on planet Mars, or lie upon the hillside to admire the stars, the northern lights remind us, with their shimmering towers, how fortunate we are to have this earth of ours. And the home we share, the northern lights remind us, as water and air, the northern lights remind us that there's no guarantee, there's no guarantee. The northern lights remind us, the northern lights remind us.
Oh, lovely. Great.
Thanks very much. We'll be doing Songwriters in the Round, much like this one, on April 22nd, also known as Earth Day. And I'll be sending out all the information about that in the newsletter, so please leave your email in the chat or in the comments on Facebook or YouTube and let me know so that I can let you know. So this is our last round, Cray.
Okay, so we're going to do one more?
Yes, we are.
Okay. Jan and Buffy were talking about writing from prompts, and Jan was saying she'd been writing a lot over the last 2 years or so as a way to stay sane. And I've written a lot over the last 2 years too, and it has all been very, very bad. I have never had so many absolutely horrid songs come out from my fingers, and they are all safely buried somewhere safely in the studio and will never see the light of day. But this is the title track off my last CD. I write a lot of songs about heroes and myth because I think these are the shouted poetry of dawn. And hopefully I'll get to meet some folks when I'm out on the road this year. He patrolled the New York subway, the Q train, Broadway line, from 96th on down to Coney Isle. His superhero mask was red, it was a pair of underwear, with rubber boots and cape, a kitchen towel. He knew the nightly riders, and he called them all by name, and they made sure his nightly fare was paid. While his history was hidden and his origins obscure, on a ragged subway seat, a New York hero he was made. If angry words were thrown against two women holding hands, or a homeless man was kicked and put to shame, if someone in a turban was pushed around and cursed, his eyes would flash and loudly he'd exclaim, he'd say, I am the Midnight Commander. I am a flame, I'm a beacon in the night. I am the Midnight Commander. Oh, set aside your hatred, put aside your fear, for the Midnight Commander is here. Oh, the Midnight Commander is here. Now everyone he challenged, they felt his gentle power, and they'd falter in their hatred and their pain, standing quiet, wondering at the seasons of the heart, and an old man in pajamas on the train. And the riders of the subway, the Q train, Broadway line, were proud and tall when he would pass them by. They'd smile at one another and they'd give a mighty cheer when whatever they would hear his ringing cry when he said, I am the midnight commander. I am a flame, I'm a beacon in the night. I am the midnight commander. Oh, set aside your hatred, put aside your fear, for the midnight commander is here. Oh, the midnight commander is here. But all good deeds are punished, and someone finally made the call to New York's Metro Clinic with the tale. And a bed check found one empty, found the window open wide, found footprints headed toward the subway rail. And so the lords of Bedlam came, each one dressed in white, and they found him riding on his nightly fare. They called him by his given name, and that took away his soul and brought him back to his confused despair. But I am the midnight commander, he said as they gently led him off into the night. But I am the midnight commander who will keep them from their hatred, rescue them from fear, if the midnight commander's not here. If the midnight commander's not here. Now the New York City subway, the Q train Broadway line, gallops through the night just like before. But at 96th and 2nd, all the riders take a stand, for New York's Don Quixote was no more. And on the empty platform, as the train goes on its way, if you listen very closely, you can hear the voices say, they say, remember, remember, don't give in to hatred or to fear. Remember, oh, remember now that the midnight commander was here. I say the midnight commander was here. Well, it started in Manhattan. It was a single burning flame. It spread to Queens, the Bronx, and Brooklyn. And Staten Island was the same. And Macy's, they ran out of red underwear, and rubber boots could simply not be found. Words were carved upon the subway walls, and 1,000 voices thundered with a sound. And the words said, I am the midnight commander. I am a flame, I'm a beacon in the night. I am the midnight commander. Oh, set aside your hatred, put aside your fear, for the midnight commander is here. Oh, the midnight commander is here. Thank you
That
so
was
much.
just brilliant.
Glorious.
Bravo.
Glorious. Wow. Wow. It's a lot of uplift. Okay. This is my most autobiographical song. And it was from a prompt in a class where you were supposed to turn the song around in a day. 5 years later, I delivered it to the teacher, and he was okay with it. I should say that with my singing partner David Fishkin, I'm participating in the upcoming NEFA Online Folk Festival, the New England Folk Festival Association virtual festival, on April 23rd and 24th, I think. Yes. So if you're interested in that, you can find Fishkin and Groves there. Thank you, Jan. feel how she sits like a swan on the surface, rising with each gentle swell. The morning fog lifts as the jib tackle shifts, and we wake to the call of the bell. That scene slips away, and I gaze at the ceiling. I'd stay in that dream if I could, for the memory play brings me back to the days when I first started working in wood. So long I drifted, my goal merely motion, till a chance morning's walk changed my plans. Transfixed by the scene of sailboats careened, and the shipwrights at work on the sand. Day after day, I came back to the harbor, begging what work they would give, till the captains and crews saw my calling was true, and they taught me a new way to live. Fell, float, quarter and plane, the strength of the stock can be seen in the grain. Adze, axe, mallet and pin, the worth of the wood is revealed from within. Oak, ash, poplar and yew, select from the stock by the work it must do. Trim, stain, varnish and sand, our hearts learn to love what we shape with our hands. God made a man out of dust, out of breath, and he saw that his labors were good. But when all's said and done, knows the carpenter's son, he'd as well have been working in wood.
Wow, Buffy, that was great.
Thanks, Jan. Thanks, Gray.
So I'm going to do the very last song of the show, but before I do, I'd like to say thank you to Cray Van Kirk and offer up a big round of applause for him, and I hope you'll join me in it. Thank you so much for saying yes to this, Cray.
Thank you. It's been a lot of fun.
And also thank you to Buffy Groves. Thank you again for being here. I love it when Sunday afternoon. I love Sunday afternoon to begin with, and I love this even more. So I'm going to do song that's dedicated to everyone here, friends old and new. Old friends, they call you on the phone sometimes, or show up on your doorstep and say, remember when? Unpack their adventures and hang them in the closets of your heart. Old friends, they write their letters years too late, but you write back anyway. They wake you late at night, calling from the airport in between flights. I used to worry everyone was leaving and soon they'd all be gone. But I was wrong, 'cause life went on. Sooner or later they all came home. Old friends, no one could measure or compare the treasure of these memories we share. And I will always care for old friends. I used to worry everyone was leaving and soon I'd be alone. But I was wrong, 'cause life goes on. Sooner or later we all come home. Oh, friends, all our paths will cross again, like multicolored ribbons and laced through time and space. And there will always be a place for old friends. Ooh.
Oh, lovely.
Thank you all for being here. It's been such a nice afternoon, and I really appreciate it, and I hope you'll come back. You're invited. And thank you again to Buffy and to Cray.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Can everybody
Thank you.
uncloak to say goodbye?
Thank you, Jan.
Thank you for a great
Thank
afternoon.
you.
Thanks, everyone. It was awesome.
Thank you.
Great.
Bye-bye.
Good night. Thank you. Bye. Night. Good night, everyone.
Good
Night.
night. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, for you, for sure.